First contact. The starship Horizon glided silently through the inky blackness of space, its sleek hull reflecting the dim light of distant stars. Inside the bridge, Captain Sarah Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, dark eyes fixed on the viewscreen before her. The ship's mission was simple: make peaceful first contact with the newly discovered Zarkali species. But as Sarah had learned over her years in the Terran Space Force, nothing was ever truly simple when it came to interstellar diplomacy. Coming up on the Zarkali homeworld, Captain, announced Lieutenant Rodriguez from his position at the helm. ETA 5 minutes. Sarah nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and apprehension bubbling in her stomach. This was why she had joined the Space Force, to explore new worlds, to meet new civilizations. But the weight of responsibility on her shoulders was immense. One wrong move could spark an interstellar incident. All hands, prepare for first contact protocols, she ordered, her voice calm and steady despite her inner turmoil. Remember your training. We're here as ambassadors of Earth and the entire human race. Let's make a good first impression. As the Horizon entered orbit around the alien world, Sarah marveled at its beauty. Swirling purple clouds obscured much of the planet's surface, but occasional breaks revealed glimpses of shimmering silver oceans and verdant landmasses. It was both familiar and utterly alien at the same time. "We're being hailed, Captain," reported Communications Officer Patel. "The Zarkali are requesting permission to send a delegation aboard." Sarah took a deep breath. This was it. Permission granted. Have them directed to the main conference room. I'll meet them there. As she made her way through the ship's corridors, Sarah mentally reviewed everything she knew about the Zarkali. The xenoanthropologists had worked overtime to prepare the crew for this encounter, but there was only so much they could learn from long-range observations and intercepted transmissions. She knew the Zarkali were a peaceful, technologically advanced species with a culture that placed great emphasis on personal bonds and emotional connections. But the nuances of their society were still a mystery. The conference room doors slid open, revealing a sight that took Sarah's breath away. 3 Zarkali stood before her, their bodies tall and slender, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. They had no hair, but intricate patterns adorned their scalps and faces. Their large, almond-shaped eyes regarded Sarah with unmistakable curiosity. Sarah stepped forward, raising her hand in the traditional Terran greeting. "On behalf of the people of Earth and the Terran Alliance, I welcome you aboard the Horizon. I am Captain Sarah Chen." The central Zarkali, slightly taller than the others, mirrored her gesture. When it spoke, its voice was melodious, almost musical. "Greetings, Captain Chen of Earth. I am Zalra, first emissary of the Zarkali confluence. We are honored by your presence and eager to forge bonds of friendship between our peoples." As the formal introductions continued, Sarah felt a sense of relief wash over her. Despite the vast differences between their species, there was a warmth and openness to the Zarkali that put her at ease. Perhaps this mission would be a success after all. But as the meeting progressed, Sarah began to notice something odd. The Zarkali seemed intensely focused on her, their eyes roaming over her body in a way that made her slightly uncomfortable. At first, she dismissed it as simple alien curiosity, but the behavior persisted. Finally, during a lull in the conversation, Zalra leaned forward, its large eyes fixed on Sarah's face. "Captain Chen, if I may ask a personal question, our studies of your transmissions have revealed much about human culture, but there is one aspect that confuses us greatly." Sarah nodded, curious despite her unease. "Of course, emissary. We're here to learn from each other. What would you like to know?" Zalra's skin flushed a deeper shade of blue, a gesture Sarah assumed indicated embarrassment or excitement. "We have observed that humans engage in a practice called mating for both reproduction and pleasure. Is this correct?" Sarah felt her own cheeks grow warm. Of all the topics for first contact, she hadn't expected this. "Ah, yes, that's correct. though we generally refer to it as sex when it's not specifically for reproduction. The Tsar-Kali exchanged looks of fascination. Zolra continued, its voice filled with wonder. This concept is entirely foreign to us. Tsar-Kali reproduce through a merger of energy essences, a process that is purely functional. The idea of physical pleasure from such an act is intriguing. Sarah cleared her throat, trying to maintain her professional composure. Well, yes, it's an important part of human relationships and biology. She desperately hoped the conversation would move on to less awkward topics. But Zalora had one more surprise in store. It leaned even closer, its voice dropping to a near whisper. Captain Chen, would you be willing to demonstrate this mating with me? For the sake of cultural exchange and understanding, of course. Sarah's eyes widened in shock. She opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. How had a routine diplomatic mission turned into this? Before she could formulate a response, alarms began blaring throughout the ship. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice came over the intercom, tight with tension. Captain, to the bridge immediately. We have multiple unidentified vessels dropping out of FTL. Grateful for the interruption despite the obvious danger, Sarah stood quickly. I apologize, emissary, but duty calls. Please remain here for your safety. As she rushed to the bridge, Sarah's mind raced. First contact, awkward cultural misunderstandings, and now a potential threat. This mission had just become far more complicated than she could have ever imagined. The bridge was a flurry of activity when Sarah arrived. The view screen showed a dozen sleek, predatory-looking ships surrounding the horizon and the Tsar-Kali world. Report. Sarah barked, sliding into her command chair. Unknown vessels, Captain, Rodriguez replied, his fingers flying over his console. They're not responding to hails. Energy readings suggest weapons powered and ready to fire. Sarah's mind raced through potential scenarios. Pirates? Unlikely, given the advanced look of the ships. A rival alien species? Possible, but why here and now? Shields up, she ordered. Charge weapons, but hold fire. Let's not start an interstellar incident if we can avoid it. Suddenly, the view screen flickered and a new face appeared. The alien was unlike anything Sarah had ever seen, a mass of writhing tentacles surrounding a single baleful eye. When it spoke, its voice was a harsh, grating sound that set Sarah's teeth on edge. Humans of Earth, the creature rasped. Your meddling ends here. The Tsar-Kali and their world belong to the Vexkar Dominion. Surrender now, or be destroyed along with them. Sarah's blood ran cold. This was no longer a simple diplomatic mission. They were on the brink of war, the quantum nexus. Captain Sarah Chen's mind raced as she faced the grotesque visage of the Vexkar leader on the view screen. The fate of Earth's first contact mission, and possibly the entire Tsar-Kali species, hung in the balance. But Sarah hadn't risen to the rank of captain by buckling under pressure. This is Captain Chen of the Terran Alliance starship Horizon, she declared, her voice steady and resolute. We do not recognize your claim to this world or its people. Stand down immediately, or face the consequences of your aggression. The Vexkar commander's eye narrowed, its tentacles writhing in what Sarah assumed was anger. Foolish human, you have no concept of the powers you're dealing with. The Tsar-Kali possess something we've sought for millennia, the key to the quantum nexus. Surrender them to us, or we'll reduce your ship to atoms. Sarah's brow furrowed. Quantum nexus. She'd never heard the term before, but it sounded ominous. She glanced at her science officer, Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka, who shook her head slightly. Whatever this nexus was, it was unknown to Earth scientists. Before Sarah could respond, the conference room doors slid open, and Zalra glided onto the bridge, its iridescent skin pulsing with an intense blue light. Captain Chen, the Tsar-Kali emissary said, its musical voice tinged with urgency, we must not allow the Vexkar to acquire the nexus. The fate of the entire galaxy hangs in the balance. Sarah nodded, making a split-second decision. Understood, emissary. Lieutenant Rodriguez, evasive maneuvers. Lieutenant Patel, open a channel to Terran Command. We need reinforcements. As the Horizon dove and weaved through space, narrowly avoiding the Vexcar's initial barrage, Sarah turned to Zalara. I think it's time you filled us in on what exactly we're dealing with here. Zalara's large eyes seemed to shimmer with ancient knowledge. The quantum nexus is not a thing, Captain, but a place, a hidden realm where the fundamental forces of the universe intersect. It is said that those who control the nexus can reshape reality itself. Sarah's mind reeled at the implications. And your people know how to access this nexus. Zalara nodded solemnly. We are its guardians, chosen eons ago by beings your kind might call precursors. The key to the nexus is not a physical object, but a specific frequency of consciousness that only Zarkali minds can achieve. As if to punctuate Zalara's words, the ship rocked violently as a Vexcar energy beam grazed their shields. Shields at 60% and falling, Captain, shouted Lieutenant Rodriguez. We can't take much more of this. Sarah gritted her teeth, her tactical mind working overtime. They were outgunned and outnumbered, with reinforcements too far away to help. There had to be another way. Suddenly, an idea struck her. Crazy, reckless, but potentially brilliant. Zalara, she said, turning to the alien emissary, you said the key to the nexus is a state of consciousness. Is there any way you could temporarily share that state with a human mind? Zalara's skin rippled with surprise. It might be possible, but it's never been attempted. The strain could be too much for a human brain to bear. Well, we're about to find out, Sarah said grimly. Because I've got a plan, and it's either going to save us all or get us killed in spectacular fashion. As Sarah quickly outlined her audacious scheme, the bridge crew's eyes widened in a mixture of awe and disbelief. It was insane, unprecedented, and just might work. Lieutenant Tanaka, Sarah ordered, I need you to reconfigure the main deflector dish to emit a focused beam of tachyons. Lieutenant Patel, prepare to broadcast on all frequencies. And Zalara, I need you to do whatever it is you do to access the quantum nexus, and then link your mind with mine. As her crew scrambled to comply, Sarah took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. She'd signed up for exploration and diplomacy, not reality-warping psychic battles. But humanity had a knack for adapting to the impossible, and she'd be damned if she let some tentacled tyrant stand in the way of galactic peace. Zalara approached, its slender hands hovering near Sarah's temples. Are you certain about this, Captain? The merging of our consciousnesses will be intense. You may experience things beyond human comprehension. Sarah managed a wry smile. After that mating proposal earlier, I think I can handle a little cosmic enlightenment. As Zalara's fingers made contact with her skin, Sarah's world exploded into a kaleidoscope of sensation. Colors she'd never imagined burst behind her eyes, while mathematical equations of impossible complexity danced through her mind. She felt herself stretching, expanding, becoming aware of realities layered upon realities. And there, at the center of it all, pulsing with power beyond imagining, was the quantum nexus. With the last shred of her human consciousness, Sarah heard herself giving the order, Now, Lieutenant Tanaka, fire the tachyon beam. A lance of energy erupted from the horizon, not aimed at the Vexcar ships, but at the empty space between them. As the beam hit the precise coordinates Sarah/Zalara's shared consciousness had calculated, reality itself seemed to hiccup. A swirling vortex of light and energy blossomed in the vacuum, tendrils of quantum possibility reaching out to caress the startled Vexcar fleet. Sarah felt a surge of triumph as the enemy ships were caught in the Nexus' embrace, their hulls warping and twisting as the fundamental laws of physics reasserted themselves in new and interesting ways. By the void, the Vexcar commander shrieked, its eye bulging in terror. What have you done, you meddling apes? Sarah, her mind still linked with Zalara's, smiled serenely at the viewscreen. When she spoke, her voice echoed with the wisdom of ages. "We've given you a taste of the power you so desperately sought, Vexcar. Your ships are now quantum entangled with a particularly unpleasant dimension where the concept of up is more of a polite suggestion than a rule. I suggest you leave, unless you'd like me to make the change permanent." The Vexcar fleet, their once fearsome ships now resembling abstract sculptures more than weapons of war, didn't need to be told twice. In a cacophony of spatial distortions and muffled curses, they vanished back into the depths of space. As the immediate danger passed, Sarah felt Zalra gently disentangling their minds. The vastness of the cosmos receded, leaving her feeling simultaneously diminished and expanded. She slumped in her chair, exhausted but exhilarated. "Captain," Lieutenant Rodriguez said, his voice filled with awe, I don't even have words for what that was." Sarah chuckled weakly. That, Lieutenant, was humanity's unique gift to the galaxy, the ability to come up with completely insane ideas and somehow make them work. Zalra, its skin now pulsing with a warm golden light, bowed deeply to Sarah. "You have done more than save our world, Captain Chen. You have proven that humanity is ready to join the greater galactic community as true partners in the stewardship of the quantum nexus." As the implications of Zalra's words sank in, Sarah felt a surge of pride and wonder. Humanity's first steps into a larger universe had been unconventional, to say the least, but they had faced the unknown with courage, creativity, and just the right amount of audacity. The future, with all its infinite quantum possibilities, beckoned, and Sarah Chen, along with the rest of humanity, was ready to embrace it, one impossible victory at a time. The chrono-synapse paradox. The aftermath of the quantum nexus incident left Captain Sarah Chen and her crew reeling. As the Horizon maintained orbit around the Zarkali homeworld, the bridge buzzed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Earth had just been thrust onto the galactic stage in a way no one could have predicted. "Captain," Lieutenant Patel called out, her voice tight with urgency, "we're receiving a priority transmission from Terran Command. It's the Admiral herself." Sarah straightened her uniform, still feeling the lingering effects of her mind meld with Zalra. "On screen, Lieutenant." The weathered face of Admiral Constance Wu filled the view screen, her expression a mix of awe and concern. "Captain Chen, I've just reviewed your preliminary report. To say I'm astounded would be an understatement. You've single-handedly reshaped humanity's place in the cosmos." "Thank you, Admiral," Sarah replied, "but I had help. The Zarkali." "Yes, about that," the Admiral cut in. "Your new alien friends. How much can we trust them? This quantum nexus technology could revolutionize everything from space travel to energy production. We need to secure Earth's interests." Sarah felt a twinge of unease. "With all due respect, Admiral, the nexus isn't a technology we can simply acquire. It's a fundamental aspect of reality that the Zarkali have been entrusted to protect. We should focus on building a partnership, not trying to control it." Admiral Wu's eyes narrowed. "I appreciate your input, Captain, but this is now a matter of galactic security. Your new orders are to bring a Zarkali representative back to Earth for consultation. We need to understand this power fully." As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to find Zalra standing nearby, its iridescent skin pulsing with a deep purple hue that she now recognized as concern. "Your leaders fear what they do not understand," Zalra said softly. "But there are greater dangers than the Vexcar that threaten the balance of the cosmos. The Nexus must not fall into unprepared hands." Before Sarah could respond, Lieutenant Tanaka's console erupted in a cacophony of alarms. "Captain, I'm detecting massive temporal distortions. Something's coming through." The view screen flickered, showing a swirling vortex of chronoparticles coalescing into a massive ship, unlike anything they'd ever seen. Its hull seemed to phase in and out of reality, leaving afterimages across multiple timelines. A new voice, somehow ancient and youthful simultaneously, boomed across all frequencies, Humans of Earth, Zarkali of the Eternal Watch, heed our warning. We are the Chronosynapse Collective, guardians of the time stream. Your meddling with the quantum nexus has created a paradox that threatens to unravel the very fabric of spacetime. Sarah's mind raced. Just when she thought the situation couldn't get more complex, time travelers show up. This is Captain Chen of the Horizon. We meant no harm. How can we correct this paradox? The voice replied, tinged with both urgency and compassion. The merging of human and Zarkali consciousness has created a chronosynapse bridge, a connection point between all possible timelines. Unless sealed, it will cause temporal chaos across the galaxy. Zalra stepped forward, its voice resonating with newfound purpose. The ancient texts spoke of this possibility. Captain Chen, we must complete the synapse convergence ritual. It is the only way to stabilize the time stream. Sarah nodded, her resolve strengthening. What do we need to do? We must return to the nexus, Zalra explained. But this time, we cannot simply observe. We must become one with it, anchoring the chronosynapse bridge across all realities. Lieutenant Rodriguez interjected, his voice filled with concern. Captain, you can't be serious. The strain nearly overwhelmed you last time. This could kill you both. Sarah met her helmsman's gaze with steely determination. The fate of the entire spacetime continuum is at stake, Lieutenant. We don't have a choice. As Sarah and Zalra prepared for the ritual, the Chronosynapse ship maintained position nearby, its advanced sensors monitoring the growing temporal instabilities. The Horizon's crew watched in tense silence as their captain once again joined minds with the alien emissary. This time, the merging was instantaneous and total. Sarah felt her consciousness expand beyond the confines of linear time, perceiving past, present, and future simultaneously. She saw countless alternate realities branching out from this moment, timelines where humanity never left Earth, where the Vexkar ruled the galaxy, where the Zarkali had never evolved at all. And at the center of it all was the quantum nexus, a swirling maelstrom of pure potentiality. Sarah/Zalra reached out with their shared mind, grasping the threads of reality and begin to weave them back together. The process was excruciating. Sarah felt as if her very soul was being stretched across the multiverse. But with each passing moment, the chronosynapse bridge stabilized. The paradox began to resolve itself, timelines realigning and merging back into a coherent whole. Just as Sarah thought she could endure no more, a new presence entered their shared consciousness. The Chronosynapse Collective joined the mental link, their vast intelligence helping to shoulder the burden of universal realignment. In that moment of supreme connection, Sarah glimpsed the true nature of reality, a cosmic dance of energy and information, where consciousness itself was the fundamental building block of existence. She understood that humanity's destiny was not to conquer the stars, but to become their caretakers, joining ancient races like the Zarkali in shepherding the evolution of the cosmos. With a final surge of collective will, the chronosynapse bridge snapped into place. The paradox resolved, and the time stream stabilized. Sarah found herself back on the Horizon's bridge, gasping for air as if she'd run a marathon across the universe, which, in a way, she had. Zalra stood beside her, its skin shimmering with every color imaginable. "It is done," the alien said, its voice filled with wonder. "The bridge is secure, and with it, a new era for all sentient life has begun." The voice of the Chronosynapse Collective echoed through the ship one final time. "You have done well, humans and Zarkali. The temporal crisis is averted. But know this, your species are now bound together as cosmic keystones. The choices you make will ripple across all of spacetime. Choose wisely, for the fate of all realities rests in your hands." As the time-traveling ship shimmered and vanished, Sarah turned to face her stunned crew. She knew that the report she'd have to give to Admiral Wu would change the course of human history forever. Earth could no longer focus solely on its own interests. They were now part of a vast, interconnected cosmic web. "Well," Sarah said, a wry smile playing on her lips. I'd say first contact was a success. Now, who's ready to help me explain to Terran Command why we're suddenly responsible for the entire space-time continuum? As nervous laughter rippled through the bridge, Sarah knew that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The stars had always beckoned, but now they offered more than just new worlds to explore. They offered a chance for humanity to truly understand its place in the grand tapestry of existence. And Sarah Chen, along with her diverse crew and their new Zarkali allies, would be at the forefront of this cosmic awakening, one impossible challenge at a time. The Multiversal Nexus Initiative. Captain Sarah Chen stood before the United Earth Council, her posture rigid and her expression resolute. The Grand Chamber, with its holographic displays of swerving galaxies and quantum equations, buzzed with tension. Representatives from every nation on Earth, as well as a contingent of Zarkali observers, waited with bated breath for her report. Distinguished counselors, Sarah began, her voice clear and steady. What I'm about to share will fundamentally alter our understanding of reality itself. The quantum nexus isn't just a source of power, it's the cosmic framework that binds all possible universes together. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the assembly. Sarah continued, her words carefully chosen. Through our alliance with the Zarkali and the intervention of the Chronos Synapse Collective, we've unlocked humanity's latent potential as universal resonators. We can now perceive and interact with the multiverse in ways previously thought impossible. She gestured, and a holographic representation of intertwining realities sprang to life above the council floor. I present to you the Multiversal Nexus Initiative. Our mission is no longer just to explore strange new worlds, but to safeguard the very fabric of existence across all possible timelines. As Sarah outlined the implications of their newfound role, she could see the mixture of awe, fear, and excitement on the faces before her. This was beyond first contact, beyond even the wildest dreams of science fiction. Humanity was about to embark on a journey that would redefine the very concept of reality. Captain Chen, a stern-faced counselor, interjected, "This is all fascinating, but what are the practical applications? How does this benefit Earth?" Sarah smiled, having anticipated this question. Imagine clean, limitless energy drawn from the quantum foam between universes, instantaneous communication, and travel across vast cosmic distances. The ability to predict and prevent natural disasters by observing alternate timelines. The potential is literally infinite. Zalara, standing beside Sarah, stepped forward. Its iridescent skin pulsed with a calming blue light as it addressed the council. But with great power comes great responsibility. The multiverse is delicately balanced. One misstep could cascade into multiversal chaos. Sarah nodded in agreement. That's why we're proposing the creation of the Cosmic Concordat, a multiversal governing body composed of representatives from Earth, the Zarkali confluence, and other awakened species across the cosmos. The chamber erupted into heated debate. Some counselors argued for immediate, aggressive expansion into the multiverse. Others urged caution, fearing the consequences of meddling with forces beyond their comprehension. As the arguments raged, Sarah felt a familiar tingle at the base of her skull, the remnants of her connection to the quantum nexus. She closed her eyes, allowing her consciousness to expand beyond the confines of this single reality. In that moment of cosmic awareness, she glimpsed the threads of possibility stretching out before them. She saw timelines where humanity's hubris led to multiversal collapse, others where they retreated in fear and stagnated. But she also saw futures of unimaginable wonder, where beings of pure thought and energy collaborated across dimensional boundaries to nurture fledgling universes. Opening her eyes, Sarah raised her hand for silence. The chamber stilled, all eyes turning to her. "Counselors, I understand your concerns and your excitement. What lies before us is both terrifying and awe-inspiring. But we must remember that we're not alone in this cosmic journey." With a gesture, she activated a hidden quantum transmitter. The air shimmered, and suddenly the chamber was filled with holographic representatives from across the multiverse. Beings of light and shadow, creatures of pure mathematics, and entities that defy description, all connected through the quantum nexus. "I present to you," Sarah announced, her voice resonating with newfound authority, "the first gathering of the cosmic concordat. Together, we will navigate the challenges and wonders of our interconnected realities." As introductions began and ideas flowed across dimensional boundaries, Sarah felt a surge of pride. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger, infinitely more complex universe. The path ahead would be fraught with dangers and ethical dilemmas beyond imagination, but also filled with discoveries that would reshape the very nature of existence. Zalra leaned in, its melodious voice tinged with admiration. "You've done it, Sarah. You've united not just worlds, but entire universes." Sarah smiled, her eyes gleaming with the reflected light of countless realities. "We've only just begun, my friend. The real adventure starts now." As the Cosmic Concordat's first official meeting unfolded, discussing everything from multiversal non-proliferation treaties to the ethics of timeline manipulation, Sarah Chen knew that her life would never be the same. She had signed up to explore new worlds, but now she was charting the course for all of humanity, across every possible version of reality. The stars had always called to her, but now the entire multiverse beckoned, and Sarah, along with the rest of humanity, was ready to answer that call, one impossible quantum leap at a time. The singularity convergence. The Cosmic Concordat's grand chamber hummed with an energy that transcended mere electricity. Holographic displays flickered with equations that seemed to rewrite themselves, while quantum entanglement relays connected beings from across the multiverse. At the center of it all stood Captain Sarah Chen, her eyes gleaming with the knowledge of 1,000 realities. "Order, we shall have order," loomed the voice of Xarvex, a being of pure thought who served as the Concordat's mediator. The chamber quieted, all attention turning to Sarah. "Esteemed members of the Cosmic Concordat," Sarah began, her voice steady despite the weight of her words, "we face a crisis unlike any other. Our actions in stabilizing the Chronos-Senat's bridge have had unexpected consequences." With a wave of her hand, Sarah conjured a holographic representation of the multiverse. At its center, a pulsing anomaly grew with alarming speed. "This," she explained, "is what our xenophysicists are calling the singularity convergence. The merging of human ingenuity with Zarkali cosmic awareness has created a chain reaction across realities. Alternate versions of Earth are achieving technological singularity at an exponential rate." Gasps and murmurs rippled through the assembly. A silicon-based lifeform from the Andromeda galaxy spoke up, its voice a series of harmonic frequencies. "What are the implications of this convergence?" Sarah's expression turned grim. "If left unchecked, these hyper-advanced Earth variants will begin to merge. The sudden influx of technology and knowledge from countless timelines could tear apart the fabric of our local multiverse cluster." Zalra, standing at Sarah's side, added, "But there's more. We've detected a pattern in the convergence. It's not random, it's being directed." The chamber erupted in chaos. Accusations flew as various factions blamed each other for manipulating the singularity event. Sarah raised her hand, calling for silence. "We've traced the source," she said, her voice cutting through the din. "It's coming from outside our multiverse entirely." The holographic display zoomed out, revealing a vast emptiness beyond the boundaries of known reality. There, at the edge of existence, a massive structure pulsed with otherworldly energy. "We're calling it the Omnisphere," Sarah explained. "It appears to be a construct of unimaginable power, capable of manipulating the fundamental constants of multiple universes simultaneously." A chorus of voices clamored for explanations, theories, and courses of action. Sarah closed her eyes, reaching out with her enhanced consciousness to touch the minds of every being present. In that moment of supreme connection, she shared her vision. The countless Earths racing towards technological godhood, the strain on the cosmic fabric, and the looming threat of the omnisphere. As the vision faded, a hushed awe fell over the chamber. The true scale of their predicament was now clear to all. "We have a choice to make," Sarah said, her voice resonating with purpose. "We can attempt to halt the singularity convergence, possibly stunting the growth of countless civilizations, or we can embrace it, guiding these ascending Earths towards a unified purpose." Zulrah stepped forward, its skin shimmering with determination. "There is a third option. We use the quantum nexus to create a hyperdimensional firewall, isolating our multiverse cluster from the influence of the omnisphere." The chamber buzzed with debate. Creating such a firewall would require energy on a scale never before attempted. It would mean cutting off all contact with whatever lay beyond their known reality, possibly forever. As the arguments raged, Sarah felt a familiar tug at the edge of her consciousness. The quantum nexus was calling to her, showing her glimpses of possible futures. She saw timelines where the firewall failed, others where it succeeded, but at a terrible cost. And then, in a flash of insight, she understood. "Wait," Sarah's voice cut through the chaos. "The omnisphere isn't a threat, it's a test." All eyes turned to her as she continued, her words flowing with the certainty of cosmic truth. "Think about it. A structure of that power wouldn't need to manipulate us from afar. It's pushing us towards ascension, seeing if we're ready to join something greater than ourselves." Sarah's gaze swept the chamber, meeting the eyes, or equivalent sensory organs, of each being present. "We don't need a firewall. We need to embrace the singularity convergence and use it to reach out to the omnisphere. It's time for us to step beyond the boundaries of our known multiverse." A tense silence fell over the assembly as the implications of Sarah's words sank in. They stood at the precipice of a cosmic leap that would redefine the very nature of existence. Finally, Exarvex spoke, its thoughts resonating through the chamber. "Captain Chen speaks with the wisdom of one who has touched the infinite. I propose we put her plan to a vote." One by one, representatives from across the multiverse signaled their agreement. Unity in the face of the unknown, it was perhaps the greatest achievement in the history of sentient life. As the vote concluded, Sarah felt a surge of energy unlike anything she'd experienced before. The quantum nexus pulsed, connecting every mind in the chamber in a symphony of shared purpose. "Then it's decided," Sarah announced, her voice echoing across realities. "We will guide the singularity convergence, uniting the ascending Earths and all willing civilizations. Together, we'll reach out to the omnisphere and take our place among the higher dimensions of existence." As the cosmic concordat mobilized, Sarah knew that the greatest adventure in the history of the multiverse was about to begin. They would rewrite the laws of physics, transcend the boundaries of time and space, and explore realms beyond imagination. And at the heart of it all was humanity, not just from one Earth, but from countless versions across the multiverse. Their creativity, their resilience, their undying spirit of exploration would light the way forward. Sarah Chen smiled, feeling the weight of infinite possibilities stretching out before her. The journey that had begun with a simple first contact mission had led to this moment, the dawn of a new cosmic age. As the assembled beings of the cosmic concordat prepared to reshape reality itself, Sarah's thoughts turned to the vast unknown that awaited them beyond the omnisphere. Whatever lay ahead, she knew one thing for certain. Humanity, in all its infinite variations, was ready to face it head-on. The end, or perhaps the beginning.